Hey guys, welcome back to DIY with me. I'm so excited you guys are here today. Today we're going to do a simple, easy craft. If you have an old book, this is perfect to use it for. What you're going to need is you're going to need a template, which I already have one. I see this little bunny right here. It's a little wooden bunny. You're going to need a template. You're going to need a Sharpie or a pen or pencil, however you want. I tend to like the Sharpies because it shows a little bit better when you're working with it. A hole punch, some twine, or if you want to get rid of your macrame cord, you can use your macrame cord. Some pom-poms. As you see, I've got all my little pom-poms in one little container, and they're going to go right there. And of course, your handy dandy hot glue gun and your scissors. Now, the first thing I did was I went ahead and drew a bunny on my page. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do 2 at one time, and I'm just going to cut. Remember, when we're cutting the pages out, you want to move the page instead of moving the scissors, so that you've got an even kind of edge for your bunnies. Now, I'm going to do 6 of these bunnies. So I'm doing 2 at a time to save time. This is really easy. It requires very little materials. A book, and I'm just using an old paperback book that was really old that I've had forever, that I have not been able to sell, and I didn't plan on donating it because I really liked some of the things in the book. But I like the edge. I like the aged of this book. And it's okay if the bunny is showing through, if the Sharpie is showing through, because that could be the back end of your bunny. Now, if you want hole reinforcements, you can put those on, but I choose not to. I have 2 done. I have 2 more to go. So now I'm going to go back, take my bunny pattern. Doesn't matter where on the page because they're all going to be the same size, and my Sharpie, and just draw around it. I purposely did not draw all of them because I wanted to show you how quick and easy this craft was. Some of the crafts are a little bit time consuming because it depends on the size you're working on or what the technique that we're using. Like if we're using paint, it's going to take a little bit of time for the paint to dry. If we're using hot glue, it takes a little while for the hot glue to dry. If we're doing a yarn looping thing or a macrame, it's going to take a while for us to actually loop and tie and do all that. But this one's going to be a quick and easy one. I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 of my patterns out and put him aside. And I'm going to set these other pieces of book pages aside. We're going to do another craft. This whole book will be used. If you want to go ahead and deconstruct all your book so that when you get ready to do it, you have all the pages torn out. If you're like watching TV one day and you're like, I really feel like I should be doing something instead of watching TV all day, then all you got to do is pick up that book and start tearing the pages. And keep it in a container or in a plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag, so that all your pages are together and they don't get messed up or nothing gets spilled on them. Yesterday, I spent a lot of time organizing all my pipe cleaners into colors and organizing all my pom-poms into colors, so I knew what I had and what I didn't have. If you want to use this extra, you can for like a scrapbook or a filling or anything like that, you can. But I'm not going to do this because I have that whole book that I can use. It's okay if they're not perfectly symmetrical because they're not going to be right up next to each other. They're going to be spread apart. So that's 2, 4. It's kind of cute that you have a little bunny right here. And you can actually, if you wanted to, take a picture frame and glue and just kind of tack this down a little bit with regular glue, and put it in a picture frame, and then you have it there. That's another great craft, and I think I'll show you how to do that just for another day. Then you're going to take your last piece and you're going to cut it. Now, I know you're probably thinking, why am I going to spend all this time and effort to create something that I can easily go out and buy? Well, because this is going to take you less time, less money to do this if you have craft supplies. Everybody pretty much has a book in their house. It's a way to get rid and recycle items that will either go to the landfill or just kind of hurt our climate. So it's a great way to recycle. So there we go. Almost done with my bunny. Okay, so all the bunnies are cut out, and I'm going to actually keep one of these to show you the bunny later. But now what we're going to do is we're just going to lay them out. And I said I was going to use the back, the ones that I cut that you can see the imprint. I was going to use the back of them. Then you're going to come up here to your little head, and about 3/4 of the way in, you want to make sure that you kind of work them together. You're just going to take your hole punch and punch a hole. You know, one of the things I did not have in my craft cabinet that I had to go buy was a hole punch. Dollar Tree has great hole punches, but you can also get them on Amazon, and I will link on Amazon where you can get all this stuff. Even if you don't have an old book, you can buy a book on Amazon. You can actually buy, if you don't want to buy a book, but you can actually buy scrapbook paper and do these out of scrapbook paper as well. I have a cool craft coming up with scrapbook paper. It was cheaper actually because I was going to use a map, but it was cheaper actually for me to buy scrapbook paper than it was to buy a map. Go figure, right? Okay, so I have all my holes punched here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and thread these in because I know they're going to be a little bit heavy once, and I have one piece of my twine already tied off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread them so that the rope is going to go behind the ears so you don't see it. And I'm just going to thread it through. You're going to want to be gentle when you're threading because you don't want to tear your paper. I'm going to thread it all the way down. You might have, that's probably the tedious part of this whole craft. You're threading it down. And then, okay, I'm looking, I want to give it just a little bit more down. And then we'll go from here. Okay, now you're going to take the next one. Go underneath. No, go in. And I think that's a great way to do it right there. You can always go back and adjust them. You might end up having to because it might not be enough twine. I just eyeballed my twine. Then once again, go in so the twine goes behind the ears and not in front of the ears. This will also be a great gift, a great way if you're want to show off your faith. If you have a book that, or you can either do this with a book or you can make a copy of the book and use that and just age the paper a little bit. All right, so we have 3 threaded, 3 more to go. Go in and out, and we're just threading. And we're threading it through, and then we're going to go in and out. And last piece. Now, I've noticed that I don't have a lot left over from my end, like I did for the other one. So I may add a little bit more, or may push them a little bit more together so that I have that piece that I can loop here. So here we go. So I'm just going to pull it down a little bit longer so I can do my loops. No rhyme or reason to how big or how much space is between, because once you hang it up, you can kind of work around it and figure out your spacing. It all depends on how big your fireplace is, or if you're hanging it on your kitchen window, how big that is. You know, all these different places of wherever you hang it. Now you see here, it's tied in a knot, but it's tied this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I'm just going to add that, and I'm going to come back around and I'm going to knot it. So we have our hangers right here, and we have our bunnies. Now bunnies obviously have to have tails, right? So that's where our pom-poms and our glue gun come in. I have all these different pom-poms. These actually were, if you watched the DIY show when I did Christmas, these were actually the garland that were on my tree, and they got tangled, and I'm like, screw it. I'm not going to sit here and untangle it. So I'm going to actually use these for this craft. And they were so much easier because in my craft cabinet, they were just sitting there. And they were tangled up, and they were getting my way every time that I would come in. So I'm just putting a little dab of glue on, adding the pom-poms. And you're going to have glue strings coming out, and you're going to add a little bit of glue. If you don't have pom-poms, you can always use cotton balls if you want. Those would be easy to use. You can always use, trying to think something else that you can use. Buttons. You can always use a button if you don't have these pom-poms. These are actually felted balls, but I do have some of these little pom-poms right here that I knew I was going to end up needing for a craft. So I'm going to put the other extra ones that I have out. So see, I still have extra pom-poms left over, extra white pom-poms left over to do another craft on if I decide. And we are almost finished with this craft, and it took us 13 minutes, guys, to do this whole thing. The only prep work I did was I took out and cut out, pulled out the book pages. There you go, guys. A bunny. Hold on just a second, and I will hold it up so you guys can see it. Here you go, a little bunny banner. As you see, I have some hot glue hanging off of it. When you go to hang it up, you just pull off your hot glue pieces and lay them down. And this one has a lot of hot glue on it, just laying there. Just pull it off. I have to mop the log cabin floor anyways. So, and that holding it up to the light actually shows you where they're at. I actually am going to probably put this on the door of the log cabin, but I use 6. You can use how many you want, and it's simple and easy. You just get a pattern. If you don't have a wood cutout like I had, just Google bunny pattern standing up, and there you go. A quick and easy, cute little Easter craft, Easter decoration that your kids actually could make with you for less. If you really wanted to get artistic, you could actually have your kids cut out a couple of bunny shapes just on cardstock or regular typewriter paper or whatever, and let them color them while you're doing this. So until next time, guys, books, cotton balls or pom-poms, twine, glue sticks, scissors, Sharpie, hole punch, and hot glue gun. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this craft. Bye!